Oh, it's such a nice day today. I think it's about 16 degrees, which is kind of a bit weird because apparently it's going to snow tomorrow. I put the dog upstairs so that he wouldn't just like bark loads, but he's upstairs and he's barking loads. But this is it. I finally decided that I'm going to give you guys a full tour of the house. I've been kind of putting this off for pretty much since we first moved here. I said I was going to do it back in December, but it's been winter, it's been really cold. We've been sorting things out, there's still things we need to do. I kind of figured that the whole tiny house thing is just going to be like a work in progress. So over the months and the years that we spend in here, it will slowly change anyway. And it's also a really nice day today, so I figured that I'll give you guys a full tour of the house, show you around. There's a couple of dogs playing in the field, which is why Digby's barking so much. But yeah, without further ado, we'll head inside, show you guys around, and see what you think. So as we enter the house, we are greeted with our hallway. We have a lovely mat here where we keep Digby's food and water, so if he spills any, it goes on the mat rather than the floor. This is our shoe rack where we keep some of our shoes, not all of them, some of them just stay here.
Some of them are in the van.
Yeah, some are in the van, so like walking boots and stuff we keep in the van. In here, it's just kind of like a junk drawer with car keys.
That's not junk. That's the opposite of junk. That's my purse, the car keys.
Alright, tape measure, sunglasses. We've got a Sims game there. Just kind of just odds and sods really. But this shoe rack also doubles up as like a seat for the dining table. At Christmas time, one of us would sit on here and then we'd have two other seats here. But to be honest, I just sit on this all the time rather than getting the seats out and have dinner. Sitting on this, which works quite well. This over here,
quite a recent
this is quite a new addition
from Amazon,
and it's basically just a couple of drawers. This bottom one is for onions and garlic primarily.
Tea lights in there too.
Oh, there's a tea lights in there. But yeah, that's kind of like the onion and garlic drawer, just because there isn't really anywhere else to put them. That's easily accessible. And then the top one is Digby's lead, just gloves. Just some other bits and pieces for like dog walks and that. Yeah, waterproof trousers. And yeah, this is a duck that Joss got us a couple of years ago. Hasn't really got a home yet, so he kind of stays there.
Oh, I think that is his home. That's where I put him.
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of his home, isn't it then? Over here we have our fridge freezer and our lovely microwave. This recess in the wall we had built, especially when we had the house built. Because there wasn't really anywhere to put the fridge freezer, and I think in the original plan the bathroom's bigger and this is just like a wall, and then you have like an area in there, but we got this recess built just so we can have the fridge freezer there, and that actually works really well. I had to spin the doors around on the fridge today because they were facing the other way, so now they will open this way rather than that way, which would have been really annoying. So moving out of the entrance hall, obviously we have the whole kitchen space here. So we've got washing machine, 4-burner, electric hob, and then we've got electric oven as well. Basically everything in here is electric, so there's no gas. We've got a pan rack up here, which is actually really useful. It was a little bit sketchy putting it up because I wasn't sure where the cables were for all the switches and everything. So yeah, managed to get the pan rack in, but we had to get rid of some of our pots and pans because we had too many, and yeah, we couldn't fit them all on there. So pots, pans, colander, cheese grater, sieve, bits and pieces like that. We've got a couple of cleaning products on it, and then this top bit we've got just some eggs, just a basket of stuff with bread in it, our rice cooker, baking tin for the cakes, we've got a Pyrex dish which we don't use very often, but it's up there anyway. We've got the two chopping boards just down here in the corner. I think that's more because we like to have the whole work surface clear. we don't want it like cluttered up with too much stuff. We did think about maybe having some shelves here or something, but then we thought that if you put the shelves there, you end up putting things on them, obviously, and then it just kind of clutters it all up a bit. So we decided against that. But it's quite nice just to
Put
have
bread on the stairs though.
yeah, using the stairs as our bread bin.
So often we'll be able to put bread up there, or Joss's bread, which is this bread, will go in the freezer. So this bread isn't always there, but sometimes when we've just had a shop come, there's extra food, which you'll see like in the fridge. Yeah, so the fridge is like really full.
Our food shopping came
at the moment,
yesterday,
so that's very full. And then the cupboards are very full.
Yeah. So this is just a standard cupboard anyway. There's no real organisation in this cupboard. It's just kind of, well, they're kind of
a pantry.
Yeah, it's kind of a pantry really, but baking stuff's kind of at the bottom at the back. Things we don't really use too often, so like soap refills and stuff are right at the back there. But generally it's just kind of wherever anything fits, you kind of stuff it in there, I suppose.
Stuff it in there? I don't think that's true.
It's kind of stuff.
There's oil, there's stuff you would grab, so like the tea bags and the oil and my biscuits, I just grab out there.
So the oil we used to have up on the corner as well.
Yeah.
But we moved that into the cupboard just so it was a bit clearer. And then this one we have just 4 standard drawers really. We've got cutlery in the top, knives, forks, all that kind of stuff. Some wax melts in there as well. Second one is like spices and cling film, baking paper. And then this one is kind of like, I don't really know what this one is. Just kind of it's like a leftover drawer, isn't it?
Bowls,
got a ramekin in there, some batteries, sewing kit, Digby's birthday hat.
That's where the sewing kit is.
Yeah, the sewing kit's in there.
I was looking for that.
Got some more wax melts, whisk, electric whisk. So yeah, that's just kind of like a mishmash. And then the bottom one, this is where we have all our plates, tins, jars. Again,
it's really
just
drawer, that,
this is quite a deep drawer. It's just deeper than the other ones.
So you can get quite a lot in it.
Yeah, we get quite a lot in there. But generally speaking, it's just kind of wherever it fits, it goes.
Digby's trying to show them under the stairs.
Yeah, so under the stairs, we've got. This is where we keep our drinking water. So we've got a 10-litre like tank thing that we use for drinking water because we don't drink the water out of the main system. And then we've got Digby's food, just a couple of boxes of cereal. Digby's toy boxes here as well.
He wants his pheasant.
What do you want? Do you want burger? Burger?
No. What's pheasant?
You want the pheasant?
Yeah, he was trying to get the pheasant.
You want the pheasant? Got it?
Not sure.
I think he's just attention seeking.
Yeah, because we're not looking at him, we're looking at this.
But yeah, we've got Digby's little box. She's got toys in it. Oh, it's got Becky's weights in it as well. Tennis balls. Yeah, just kind of just a few bits and pieces really. And then behind all of that, we've got Digby's tinned food. We've got some lovely pedigree, shall we? Got 9 tins of that. That was a little condensation pocket down there, so we have to make sure that we keep everything away from the corner.
Yeah, so it just can't sit on the corner. So
yeah,
and we have a condensation trap.
Yeah. So then we've got our stairs, which take us up to the next floor, which we'll get onto in a minute. But yeah, they're kind of quite good because they're not like it's not like a ladder where it like hurts your feet because the thingies are really small. The treads are quite wide and flat, and it's not too steep. So yeah, it works quite well. I think there were other options that you could have a ladder or kind of like shelves with half a ladder sort of thing, but we just went for just a normal step thing.
And we extended out the kitchen.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. So the original kitchen I think came to here, and it would have a 2-burner hob. There wouldn't be a space for the washing machine, so we extended it an extra unit, which obviously went into the living room space a bit, but it actually worked quite well.
Well, yeah, and that's why we have the stairs like that instead of having proper stairs.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, because if we didn't have this, then you'd have more room to have like a storage staircase sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we just went for the ladder, which to be fair, I think works pretty well. Then we've got a full-length mirror, just because there was nowhere else to really put it, so that went there. And then our Hoover. Having a Dyson Hoover is a lot better than having like a big Hoover, because it's a lot more compact. Being in a small space, this thing's great. This is kind of like one of the must-have things that we're going to talk about in another video. So moving on from our kitchen, we enter the living room space. So we've basically got our TV and our PlayStation mounted on the wall, and then our sofa takes up pretty much the whole living space. This is actually a sofa bed, so the bottom pulls out and you can have this as like a double bed really. This footstool has storage in it as well, which we have the food processor in. I'm not going to lift it up because the dog's on it. And the L shape of the sofa also has storage in it. That's just got our like paperwork and crisps in it, I think. We could have the sofa this way and then like the L against the back wall, which would open this space a bit more. But this area here, this is like Digby's perch. He likes to sit on there, look out the window, lay in the sun, and if we had the sofa the other way he wouldn't be able to do that. Behind the sofa though was another mould pocket. We had to put a couple of condensation traps down behind the sofa. We'll just keep it away from the wall a bit, get some ventilation. And yeah, it doesn't get damp or mouldy anymore. And then this is where we keep one of our dining chairs. Doesn't really get used very often, to be honest, because we use the shoe rack, but just folds out like that and then folds away. This down here is Digby's ramp. If you hadn't noticed, Digby's got little legs and he can't jump up on the sofa. And a long body. And a long body. So we got this ramp. This was actually really expensive, wasn't it? We got this handmade. So moving on from the living room, we've got our dining room. By dining room I mean dining table. This we did have the option to fold down and come out, but we just had it just permanently out. I don't really see the point in it folding away, to be honest. Underneath the table we've got our second fold-up chair that we've only used once on Christmas Day, but once we're allowed guests around, I'm sure we'll use it more often. And then we've got a couple of yoga mats under here, just tucks them away quite nicely. And then we've got Becky's houseplant, which is really quite big. We haven't really found a home for this.
We need to trim it, but I need to look up how to trim it without damaging it.
Yeah, we're not really too sure. So we've got Becky's houseplant there, and then we've also got my bonsai tree, which I need to get repotted. I haven't got around to it yet, and I need to trim it up. We were thinking of perhaps getting some shelves in the corners, just to get them off the table, and so it's kind of like a bit clearer. But yeah, that's just kind of like another thing we need to do. Just haven't got around to it yet. So through this door is our bathroom. So this is our shower anyway. It's quite a big shower, definitely bigger than it needs to be, and it's quite clean at the moment because we haven't had to shower the dog very much. And then we've got vanity unit and just a standard bathroom cabinet with like, I don't know, just
medicine,
some medicine in it and stuff like that. Toothbrushes, all of that kind of stuff. We've also got cupboards under here. This is like laundry stuff. We've got some vinegar, Tupperware, just some bits and pieces. On this side we've got our towel rail. This is electric as well. That's really hot. And we've got our towels on hooks up here. These are microfiber towels, which dry really fast in comparison to a conventional towel. This is the dog's towel. So these are great as well. And then around here we've got our composting toilet, which we don't actually use for composting. We just use it for doing number ones in, I suppose. It just has basically a pipe that goes out the bottom of the house into the tank, which we obviously empty when we need to, about once a week. This guy here is probably one of the best things we've ever spent money on in our lives. This is our dehumidifier. It's an absolute lifesaver. Every time we have a shower, we just plonk it in here like that, turn it on, and it just dries out the bathroom, which obviously prevents condensation and mould. This thing's amazing. I think it's only like 150 watts, so it uses like no electricity at all. Yeah, it's really efficient, it's really good, and definitely recommend anybody who wants a dehumidifier, or anyone that lives in a caravan or anything, definitely get one of those. It's a bit of a game changer. It also saves us a lot of money on using a tumble dryer for drying washing. We'll use the dehumidifier in the main living space next to the washing, and it usually dries it overnight, which is really good.
It gets loads of water in it.
Yeah, actually it's probably...
so you can definitely see that it's like,
yeah, look, it's
gathering
like
up the
already.
water.
That's just from moisture in the air from the bathroom for like 2 days.
So yeah, if you're doing anything in a small space with lots of cold outside walls, which is really, really important to dehumidify. And that we got it from Amazon, and it just had loads of good reviews.
And I can see why.
And how long have we had it for now?
Oh, 3 months maybe.
Yeah, and it's just really great.
I would go as far as to say that without the dehumidifier, I just think we'd really struggle to live in this.
Yeah.
I think the condensation and the moisture levels are so high.
And it's quite compact, and so it's quite good to, we can just move it around, it can just be in the bathroom. It's a little bit heavy.
It's quite heavy.
But it does the job, and so that's all that matters.
Without
really.
the dehumidifier, I just don't think this would even be possible. Like, we really struggled the first months without that.
Yeah.
It was really hard. We were getting mould everywhere. Condensation was just crazy. I know it was like...
It was really stressful.
Winter, but yeah, that's just absolutely just changed everything. The other thing that we have in the house, which I hadn't mentioned, is our underfloor heating. So this is our thermostat. Just on and off. You can adjust what temperature you want it to come on. And it actually makes quite a big difference, the underfloor heating. I wear slippers, so I don't notice it so much. But just having a warm floor as opposed to a cold floor makes a really big difference. It doesn't warm up the house in the same way that maybe a radiator would, but if it's not too cold, it does radiate heat throughout the house. So that's the downstairs anyway, and if we head upstairs, then we've got our bedrooms. So we have our bedroom laying this way because we have the dormer over here on the left. This is above the front door. And our bed just literally just sits on the floor. Under the mattress, we have this matting. This is called, I can't remember what it's called. I think in America it's called dry deck. It's really good for the bed because it allows airflow underneath. Yeah, it works really well. Prevents the mattress getting mouldy. It was quite expensive. I think it was, for our bed and Joss's bed, I think it was just over £200. But yeah, it just acts as a bed frame in the same way that you would have a bed frame. But yeah, it's just like super low to the ground, and it just works really well. At the back of the bedroom, we've just got some of Becky's things, some of my things. We put a shelf up here. This has got a couple of spare pairs of shoes and a few bits and pieces. We've got one of the Velux windows over here, and we had this blind fitted afterwards that just pulls down like a blackout blind and then open up during the day. We've also got a window at our head end of the bed, which is really great because if we get too hot we can just open that window. And also if we've got the Velux window open and this window open, you get quite a lot of airflow come through, which is quite good. I expect that it's going to get quite warm up here in the summer, so having the windows at opposite ends I think is really going to help with keeping the bedroom cool. So up here is our iPad stand that we had fitted to the roof. Well, I say we had it fitted, we fitted it to the roof, and it basically means that if we lay down in bed like this, we can just lay in bed, watch the iPad on there, which is something that we do every single night. Just watch some YouTube videos for maybe an hour or so before we go to bed. And yeah, it's great. It's super cozy up here, especially when it's cold. We've got some fairy lights. Bed's really comfy. I think that this might be my favourite place in the house, just laying in bed. But at the other end of the house, we've got Joss's room, which is our second bedroom. This is connected via this bridge that runs between the two bedrooms. So we've got the ladder coming up here, and then this bridge that leads into Joss's room. So this is Joss's bedroom. He's got his bed long ways. He doesn't have a dormer though, so he doesn't have quite as much headroom as we've got on our room. But it works quite well. He's also got the same bed decking stuff that we've got on ours, just underneath there. That works really well. We keep it away from the wall a bit to prevent any cold spots or condensation spots or anything behind the mattress or anything like that, so it doesn't get mouldy. And then we've got our second Velux window, which works in the same way as the one in our room. We also haven't got a door for Joss. I don't think they could fit a door as standard because it wouldn't meet fire regulations or something. So what we were thinking of doing is perhaps getting a curtain with some eyelets on it and putting some hooks around the door. The reason we're going to do that though is because it's a funny shape and it would just be a bit awkward to put a conventional door in there. So we're thinking of maybe just putting some hooks around there and then just hooking in some sort of curtain or something, and then that will act as a door. But that pretty much concludes the second floor in the tiny house. We have just recently kind of plumbed in our water supply somewhat, because we've got a new tap that's a bit closer, and we've got a more of a permanent hose kind of running now. But this here is our 100-metre long hose pipe that we have been using for the last 4 months to fill up the water tank. We're going to still keep it anyway, just in case we need to use it, but we have now got a main pipe running straight into there that we can just connect to the tap at one end. Makes life a lot easier. We also have an outdoor socket. We've got the van plugged into this at the moment, which Joss is using as a gaming room, which works quite well. We've also got this outbox that we use for all kinds of things really. We've got chairs in there, football goal, a couple of other bits and pieces, tools and whatnot in there. So our house is built on a steel chassis with a twin axle. We need to get some covers for these because apparently in the summer the sun can perish the tyres, so we need to get a cover to make sure they're covered up. Just cheap step thing that we got for 20 quid. No thrills there, just enabled us to get into the house. We're thinking of maybe getting something a bit nicer, and maybe one with a ramp for the dog. And if you're wondering what this is actually a vent for the composting toilet. We don't have it on at the moment because we don't need to, but that brings us to this tank under here, which is our pee tank. And basically there's a pipe that comes out of the toilet into the tank, that fills up, and then we'll just go and empty it at the disposal. So at the front of the house where we've got the main tow bar, we've got this separate sort of bit on the end here, and this is basically where all our services are kept. And then above that we have our water tank, which holds 250 litres of fresh water. So inside the main service hatch, this big cylinder, this is actually our water heater. That is currently running off an electric timer, which is up there plugged in at the moment. This is our main fuse board with all of our fuses and everything in it. That's the main power in. This is how we top up our water through the hose pipe. There's a valve on here which you can just flick open and shut when the water's coming through, and then this down here, this is our water pump, and this basically comes on as soon as we open one of the taps. It recognises the water flow and then just kicks on straight away. This is actually an upgraded version. We did have a smaller one before, but it wasn't very good, so this is a very welcomed new pump, which we've only had now for a couple of weeks, but that does a really good job. But yeah, that's pretty much the inner workings of all the services. And then finally around the other side of the house, we've got the kitchen window there, obviously the Velux windows on the roof, and that down there, that's just the waste tank that comes out of the kitchen sink. We empty that every day, every evening on the dog walk we'll do that, just so we never forget. But yeah, I think that is pretty much everything we have to offer. Unfortunately, you can't leave comments on the videos anymore, which is really annoying. But if you have any questions, then please head over to my Instagram page, send me a DM, ask me a question. In addition to that, we've got links in the description below about all of the things that we have that we think that you may benefit from, such as a dehumidifier. We will do another video on must-haves for the tiny house. But I really hope you enjoyed our tour of the tiny house. If you did, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. So until then, stay fly, stay alive, have a lovely day. Don't forget to brush teeth, and we'll see you then.